Good afternoon, and welcome to Urban League for All of Us presents Black Women in Law. I am President Nkenge Harmon Johnson. I want to wish you a very happy KBJ week in honor of the first African American woman ever to be nominated to the Supreme Court of the United States of America, Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson. KBJ. You'll hear a lot about Judge KBJ, and I hope that you tuned in to the beginning of her confirmation hearings yesterday so that you can hear right from her own story, who she is, and why it's important to her, and important to all of us, frankly, that she is the next justice on the United States Supreme Court. Today, senators from all across the country on the Judiciary Committee in the United States Senate have begun questioning her about her credentials, her qualifications, and she's answering those questions for hours and hours, as she'll be doing every day during her confirmation process. We hope this process will be swift because it's clear that Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson is well qualified. In fact, more qualified than the last 4 Supreme Court justices confirmed to the court combined. She has more experience and the kind of credentials that we expect to see from a Supreme Court justice, not to mention the lived experience that is unique amongst all of her colleagues throughout history. So I'm certainly happy to be with you today to celebrate Judge KBJ. Beyond that, though, during the past several months, actually, since the Biden-Harris administration made it clear that they would appoint an African-American woman to the next vacancy on the Supreme Court of the United States, there's been a lot of conversation about who would it be, which sister would it be, which Black woman would it be, which Black woman judge would it be who would be named to the Supreme Court. Well, I want to talk about some of the other sisters whose names were getting buzz in advance of KBJ's eventual nomination to the court. There are many, many, many Black women, and hopefully it won't surprise you to know, but there are many, many Black women who are qualified to sit on the United States Supreme Court, who would be well qualified to be federal judges in our country. Of course, given the history of our country, it will not surprise you to know that we are underrepresented in the judiciary. Not the state level, certainly, where in Oregon, we've only ever had 1 Black woman Supreme Court justice, and no African-American man has ever served on that court. We'll talk more about that later. But throughout the country, more than 64% of federal judges are white men. If you go back throughout years and years of this country's history, you will find that at times all federal judges were white men. And it's only in the past couple of decades, frankly, that we're beginning to see that be different. So this is a chance for us to talk about, to highlight, to celebrate some sisters who have the qualifications, who have what it takes to sit on the federal bench, in hopes that we give them their flowers right now, but also that we raise awareness of the importance of having our courts look like the communities that they serve. First up, let's talk about our very own Dean of the University of Oregon School of Law, Marcy Lynn Burke. Dean Burke previously served as the Deputy Director for Programs and Policy for the Federal Bureau of Land Management. Before that, she worked as Acting Secretary for the United States Department of Interior, following her 2011 appointment by our very own forever President Barack Obama. When Dean Burke brought her talents to the Department of the Interior, she was leaving a role as Associate Dean from the University of Houston Law Center. So she is not new to academia. Dean Burke's area of specialties include leadership and land use, property and natural resources law. Next up, let's talk about someone who is near and dear to my heart too, and that is the Dean of my very own alma mater, Howard University School of Law, Dean Danielle Holly Walker. Dean Holly Walker is the Dean and Professor of Law at Howard University School of Law. She teaches civil procedure, administrative law, and legislation and regulation, and federal courts, and equality in education. Not all at the same time, but she has a very broad skill set and that she's able to bring to her students in furtherance of their educations. Her research pertains to governance of public schools and diversity in the legal profession. Prior to becoming dean at Howard, Dean Holly Walker was the Associate Dean for Academic Affairs and a distinguished law professor at the University of South Carolina. Before that, she clerked for Chief Judge Carl E. Stewart of the United States Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit. Now, folks, you're going to hear a number of these sisters who have clerked in the past. And one of the things that we tend to see with people who become Supreme Court justices and folks who join the federal bench is that they have clerked for other Supreme Court justices or they have clerked for federal judges in the past. So it's a credential that's going to come up again and again during our conversation today. The next sister that I want to highlight is near and dear to my heart because she is bad and she has been in the work of civil rights for quite some time. You may have been hearing about her recently because she retired just a week ago as Director Counsel of the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, the NAACP LDF, as it's also known. Sherilyn Ifill. Sister Ifill is the second woman to lead the organization. In fact, her successor is the third woman to lead the NAACP LDF. We'll talk about her on another occasion. But Sherilyn Ifill's first job out of law school was a fellowship at the ACLU in New York. She has been fighting the good fight for civil rights from the very beginning of her career. Over the course of her career, she's also taught at the University of Maryland School of Law. She pioneered law clinics, including one of the school's first, in pursuit of challenging legal barriers to reentry for people who were leaving incarceration. Director Counsel Ifill has published multiple pieces of work, including op-eds, academic articles, leading law journal articles, including On the Courthouse Lawn, Confronting the Legacy of Lynching in the 21st Century. Director Counsel Ifill is highly acclaimed, and she has shaped contemporary conversations not only around civil rights, but about what justice means. She is one of those folks who I admire, and I really appreciate the spirit that she has brought to our work. And frankly, the level of litigation that she has fostered at LDF is really unparalleled. You may know something about Thurgood Marshall. Well, this year, Director Counsel Ifill is receiving one of the American Bar Association's, also known as the ABA, highest honors, and that is the Thurgood Marshall Award. She is a sister who would be fantastic at the federal judiciary. Now, she's retired, but perhaps she could be persuaded to come out of retirement for a seat on the bench. Judge Candice Jackson Akiwumi is the next sister I want to talk about today. Judge Jackson Akiwumi is the second Black woman judge on the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Seventh Circuit, just the second. Before her confirmation, every judge on that federal court was white. Akiwumi was nominated for the role by President Biden in April of last year. Before that, she clerked for a federal circuit judge before she went on to be in private practice at a large firm. Judge Jackson Akiwumi started her legal career clerking for Clinton appointees, and then she spent more than a decade as an Illinois federal public defender, representing hundreds of indigent clients at every stage of the legal process. She provided them with their constitutional right to counsel. That's something we're hearing a lot about in Oregon right now, where we find ourselves having too few public defenders for the folks who have been charged by the state. That, too, is a conversation for a different time. Judge Jackson Akiwumi is a Princeton and Yale-educated judge, and she has garnered support from both Democrats and Republicans in the past when she was confirmed for the Seventh Circuit. Next up, let's talk about Judge J. Michelle Childs. Previously, Judge Childs spent 9 years at Nexon Pruitt's Columbia office, a law firm there. She was the first Black partner in that law firm. Later, President Barack Obama appointed her to the bench in 2009. Childs was not only the first Black woman to be a partner in South Carolina's major law firms, but she also was the first sister nominated for the seat that she presently holds. Before that, she worked as the chief of the labor agency in South Carolina. Judge Childs' work throughout her career has earned her the support of South Carolina Representative Jim Clyburn, one of the most powerful legislators in the United States Congress. He believes that she's an ideal candidate for the Supreme Court, and Republican Senator Lindsey Graham has also referred to her as an awesome person who is both fair-minded and highly gifted, adding, "I can't think of a better person for Biden to consider for the Supreme Court than Michelle Childs." Imagine that, y'all. Even Lindsey Graham could see sense and knows that Judge J. Michelle Childs is a sister who has the credentials and would be worthy of a spot on the Supreme Court. Why am I talking about that, knowing that we already have a nominee? Well, because there will be other seats available in the future. And Judge Childs is certainly someone who should be considered for those roles and would find herself receiving support from both sides of the aisle in Congress, which is all too rare these days. Judge J. Michelle Childs is a Detroit native, and something unique about her is that she did not attend an Ivy League law school. Most Supreme Court nominees, in fact, most federal court judges are Ivy League grads. The Biden-Harris administration is seeking to change that because, again, our courts should look like America. Why shouldn't there be federal judges who graduated from the University of Oregon? Why shouldn't there be federal judges who graduated from Florida A&M University and from other fine law schools around this country? Well, of course there should. It's just the country's history of discrimination and bias that has blocked that. So I'm really delighted to see that the Biden-Harris administration has taken proactive steps to look for and to support judges from other backgrounds. Other thing I want to highlight before moving on to the next sister on our list is that Judge J. Michelle Childs has been an Urban League board member in her home state. Gotta love that. Next, let's talk about Judge Holly Thomas. Judge Thomas was a longtime civil rights lawyer and a former Ninth Circuit law clerk. The Biden-Harris administration named her to the court in January of this year, and she serves on the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit. Previously, Judge Thomas served as a law clerk for Judge Kim McClain, Ward Law of the United States Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit. So she is no stranger to the job that she has today because her old boss used to have the job that she has right now. Judge Thomas has been an assistant counsel at the NAACP LDF, where Director Counsel Avel, who I mentioned earlier, was a leader. She's also been an appellate attorney in the United States Department of Justice Civil Rights Division, a crucial role in helping, frankly, to fight for freedom and to keep folks who look like me safe in this country. Before that, she was also special counsel to the Solicitor General of New York. During her tenure as special counsel, she filed briefs in federal court in North Carolina and in Texas, and she challenged the bathroom bill. Do you remember that ridiculous restriction related to transgender access to restrooms? Judge Thomas, when she was still a lawyer, was one of the lawyers responsible for fighting back against that foolish legislation. Next up, let's talk about Judge Eunice Lee. With 21 years of experience, she is the longest serving public defender to ever serve as a judge on the U.S. Court of Appeals. Let me say that again. With more than 20 years of experience as a public defender, she is the first to serve. Well, she has had the longest tenure as a public defender of any other federal court judge on the U.S. Court of Appeals. There aren't that many public defenders on the federal bench, and that is also something that the Biden-Harris administration is seeking to change. The kind of experience she brings to the bench is different and important to make sure that the court is weighing both the facts and the law in a way that is equitable for the outcome from the court. Judge Lee was born in West Germany. Lee was also an adjunct professor at NYU School of Law, teaching the Criminal Appellate Defender Clinic, a program she co-created to allow students to assist clients in the Office of the Appellate Defender. Next, let's talk about Judge Tiffany Cunningham. Judge Cunningham sits on the federal bench at the Federal Circuit. That's a highly specialized court that primarily deals with patent law. Y'all, patent lawyers are the biggest nerds of them all. And I say this with great affection for nerds. I aspire to be a better, deeper nerd myself. But Judge Cunningham certainly is a lawyer's lawyer. She began her legal career as a clerk to Judge Timothy B. Dyke of the United States Court of Appeals for the Federal Circuit. So she, too, is familiar with the role she now plays because she once worked for a judge who has the job that she has now. In 2002, she joined the Chicago office of one of our country's most noted law firms, Kirkland & Ellis. She became a partner in 2007, where she remained until 2014. She moved on to be a partner at another major law firm, Perkins Coie in Chicago, where she was a member of the patent litigation practice and served on a 17-member executive committee leading the law firm. She is she was a registered patent attorney with the United States Patent and Trademark Office. Next, let's talk about Judge Leslie Abrams Gardner. Okay, this sister, look at her picture. Listen to her name, Judge Leslie Abrams Gardner. She may seem a little familiar to you. I hope that you can guess why. If not, we'll reveal in just a moment. Judge Abrams Gardner is a United States District Court judge for the Middle District of Georgia. She was appointed by the Biden-Harris administration. Also, she's argued 12 cases at the United States Supreme Court while in office of the Solicitor General. 12 cases. Folks, there are lawyers who dream their whole lives of arguing even one case before the U.S. Supreme Court, and this sister has argued there more than a dozen times. She graduated from Brown University and Yale School of Law. She's represented big corporations like Google and Bank of America. She's also been a prosecutor. In fact, before she came to the role that she's in now, she became the first Black female federal judge in Georgia. She won confirmation 100-0 in the United States Senate. 100-0. What that means is every United States senator supported her confirmation to the bench back in 2014. I think that probably made it easier when she was elevated to the Commission on Supreme Court. Judge Leslie Abrams Gardner is the sister of our very own Stacey Abrams, who we hope will be the first Black woman governor in our nation's history. She is presently running for governor in Georgia. It's Women's History Month, and the Urban League is celebrating Women's History Month right now. Will you please do us a favor? Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter to learn more about Black women who impact public policy. We are celebrating sisters all month long. You'll see folks like Senator Akasha Lawrence Spence and Portland City Commissioner Joanne Hardesty. You'll also see those near and dear to my heart, like Senator Avel Gordley, the first Black woman in the Oregon State Senate, and former State Senator Margaret Carter, who was the first Black person in the Oregon State Legislature. She is also, I am proud to say, one of my predecessors as the president of the Urban League of Portland. We highlight sisters from Oregon. We highlight sisters from around the country this month, Black women who impact policy. Check it out on our social media. We are at ULPDX. Okay, now let's talk about California Supreme Court Justice Leandra Krueger. She is a Southern California native, and she has the traditional bona fides that you see when you're talking about federal judges and potential Supreme Court nominees, including she has also argued a dozen cases before the United States Supreme Court. Justice Krueger clerked for the late Justice Paul Stevens and Judge David Tatel of the United States Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit. She worked in the Barack Obama Justice Department as a Deputy Assistant Attorney General in the Office of Legal Counsel. This sister has got skills upon skills, history upon history that make her highly qualified, not only for her role on the Supreme Court for California, but on any federal bench in the land. The Supreme Court cases that she argued while she was in the Solicitor General's office included those cases related to both education, but also issues of justice and safety. As a California Supreme Court justice since 2015, she's developed a reputation as a careful, incremental jurist, a trait that might disappoint some folks who think judges should be a little bit more activist. But she's got a big brain, and you can't say that this sister doesn't know how to use it. She would have been the youngest Supreme Court nominee since Clarence Thomas back in 1991. Go figure, right? That still makes her a great pick, potentially, for the federal bench going forward. Now we get to talk about someone else who is near and dear to my heart, and I hope she's already familiar to most of you. Our very own Oregon Supreme Court Justice, Adrian C. Nelson. Justice Nelson was the first African-American woman to sit on Oregon's highest court. She was appointed to the Oregon Supreme Court in January 2018. In 2006, before she became a Supreme Court justice, she was appointed as an Oregon trial judge in Multnomah County. making her only the second African-American woman to become a judge in Oregon. Yeah, y'all. In 2006, we got the second Black woman judge in Oregon. We've got such a long way to go for justice to truly be served and for our bench to reflect what our state looks like. In the past, Justice Nelson served as a Multnomah County defender. That's a public defense firm serving indigent clients. Justice Nelson presently serves on multiple boards in the community, the Reed College Board of Trustees, the Literary Arts Board, and she still serves on the Oregon Community Foundation Metropolitan Portland Council Board. In the past, she's also served on the SEI Self-Enhancement, Inc. Board. Justice Nelson is a sister that you will see in the community again and again, and I hope if you do have a chance to hear her speak, take the opportunity. She's a unique intellect and cares a great deal about the community she serves. Next, y'all, let's talk about KBJ. Supreme Court nominee Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson. I know you're learning a lot about her this week, but just in case you aren't, let's tell you a little bit more. Judge Brown Jackson grew up in Miami. She's from the bottom. She graduated from Harvard College and Harvard Law. She clerked for lower court judges before going on to clerk for Supreme Court Justice Breyer during the 99-2000 term. So she too is familiar with the job that she is seeking to hold next. During Jackson's district court confirmation hearing, Justice Breyer was quoted as having raved about her intellect and thoughtfulness. This sister is special, and it's clear, not only is she special amongst legal minds, but also on the body that she is seeking to join now. She's a former public defender, and she has served as vice chair of the United States Sentencing Commission from 2010 to 2014. That's during a period when the commission cut sentences significantly for many federal drug offenders. In other words, y'all, not only has she walked the walk, but she has helped others to get free. She's helped others who have served their time, who have done everything the system asked them to do, to re-enter our society in a just way. Later, as an appellate judge, Brown Jackson also sat on a panel that the United States that was related to the United States investigation into the January 6th terrorist attack on the Capitol. Yeah, it's juicy work. So we expect that this week we'll hear a lot more about the work that she's done in the past. And there will be senators who try to pin her down of all of her ideas, from gun rights to access to abortion, to education, to parents' rights, to states' rights. But this sister is well prepared to tackle all of those questions in an appropriate fashion. And I'm really excited to hear not only more about her from her, through her own words, but also from those senators who know a lot about her record, who will be sharing it with us over the days to come. If you want to support Judge KBJ's confirmation, check out #SheWillRise. #SheWillRise is a movement to nominate and confirm more Black women to our nation's federal judiciary. And this week, they are focusing on and celebrating Judge KBJ. But not only that, they continue to support naming other Black women to the federal bench across the country. Follow them at Sister SCOTUS on Twitter. That's Sister SCOTUS on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Before we wrap up, family, I want to take a point of personal privilege and talk about the Howard University School of Law just for a moment. Because one of the things that I hope is happening during all this excitement about KBJ is that more people across the country, more African Americans are considering the law as a career for themselves. Sometimes you have to see it before you can believe that you can be it. Well, this is a time right now, y'all, where we get to see sisters and brothers who are highly qualified for their roles on the bench and in the legal profession. I should say I have a little of my own excitement in this area because recently my husband became the first African American judge in the history of our state to be appointed to the bench in Marion County. Imagine that. And he is a graduate of the Howard University School of Law, as am I. The school was founded back in 1869 with just 6 law students. Later, it's had many famous graduates, including the first Black Supreme Court Justice of the United States of America, Thurgood Marshall. If you're interested in becoming a lawyer, I hope that you will check out Howard University at law.howard.edu. That's law.howard.edu. Or consider some of the other historically Black colleges and universities. Certainly, there are fine schools that are not HBCUs, but I'll tell you something. Black lawyers come from Black law schools very, very frequently. They're places where we go, where we are celebrated, where we are educated, where we are supported, where we are challenged because iron sharpens iron. And I can't tell you of a better decision I've made for myself, for my career as a student than attending Howard University School of Law. So I invite you to check it out. While you're here, please become a member of the Urban League. If you're already a member, consider making a donation. Programs like this and others for members of our community are made possible because of your support. Visit us at ulpdx.org. That's ulpdx.org. You'll find right there a tab to get involved, to become a member, to make a donation, for that matter, to learn more about our programs. Upcoming, we have our career fair. We have our scholarship announcement for 2 of our students that we're happy to celebrate them with $10,000 scholarships to help them continue their education in college. Many other pieces of information can be found on our website at ulpdx.org. I hope that you'll visit us. Thank you for joining us today to discuss Sisters in the Law. There are many Black women who are qualified, who are ready, and who we would be proud to see on the federal bench across the country. Thank you for joining us today.